A special VLGA Connect today as we're moving out into the west of Victoria to check in with the CEOs of Northern Grampians Shire and Southern Grampians Shire. Liana Thompson from Northern Grampians is a life member of the VLGA and a former mayor, and Michael Tudball is also a former mayor, now currently a CEO at Southern Grampians. Hello to the two of you and welcome.
Hello, Chris. Hello,
G'day, Chris. G'day, Liana.
Great to see you both, and it would be really good, I think, to get a sense of how things are travelling in your respective patches with COVID-19. I think, Liana, 3 cases for you, Michael, 2 for you. Have I got that the right way around? You'd prefer none, of course, but how is your community handling the physical distancing and all the implications of that? Liana, can I start with you?
Sure. I'm really proud of community. People have really taken it really seriously. There was a little bit of pushback at the start, it couldn't really touch us because we're in the country, and but that moved really quite quickly to people taking it really seriously and being really good citizens. It's been amazing.
Michael, similar for you?
Yes, it has been, Chris. So we started restrictions here from a council perspective about 3 weeks, nearly 4 weeks ago now. And we've closed offices and then playgrounds and all the other things that most other councils have now done. And we were a little bit ahead of what federal and state government was saying. So there was a little bit of angst in the community, but I've got to say they've responded amazingly. So how they work with us, how they contact us, we've still got customer service and everything, but it's changed to this virtual world and email and telephone calls. And I was particularly proud of the community over Easter because we thought that was a bit of a test for everyone because, of course, you're home, you've got 4 days and it was amazing to have 4 days. I chopped down trees and I did a whole heap of things at home. We thought the community would get a bit stir crazy, but the streets were very, very quiet. So people were catching up with family over the phone and virtually and all that type of stuff. So I wouldn't say we're through it, not by any stretch of the imagination, but the community has really embraced it.
You mentioned Easter. In terms of what you'd normally see in your respective patches at Easter time, forgive me, which of you has the national park or do you share it? And
we share it.
Yeah, so what
Liana's got the arid end, she's got the dry end, we've got the beautiful green end.
Okay.
Didn't I tell you, Chris, that this was how it was going to go?
I was going to come to that. I was going to come to that before we were done. But in terms of that usual, I imagine influx of tourism and the messages were pretty strong going out there. But did they get through and did you see people doing the right thing over Easter?
Yeah, people were really good, really embraced the messages. For us here in Northern Grampians, we have the store gift. The store gift is, and it is a bumper weekend. We have a gazillion events that, coming around the store gift. And this year was really difficult for people. It is the time when our accommodation markets and our businesses make their money for the year. So not having it has been really difficult for community, and that sense of angst, loss, fear has palpable. Palpable. But saying that, people have really pulled together and said it was the right thing to do. Of course, we couldn't have done anything else, but really lamenting the loss of such an amazing event, a series of events.
Michael, I think I've seen some material coming out of your Shire in particular. I know you're not alone here, engaging with the business community directly and informing community about businesses that are impacted or still operating. How's that messaging been received?
Really well received, Chris, and similar to Liana. So over Northern Grampians and Halls Gap particularly draw a lot of community over Easter, as Storm does with the Storm gift and everything else. And we're beneficiaries of that as well in Dunkeld and other places. So all hospitality, of course, retail well down and everything except supermarkets pretty much. But the messaging that we've been able to go out, we've got 600 ABNs within our Shire, and we've got a dedicated team that's going out to all of our business owners. And we're talking to people from Coleraine today, from Hamilton, and we're helping navigate through. It's a really complex area that's coming out from federal and state government and stuff that we're doing. So we're pulling it together, and it's been really well received. And I think we've sent, you guys some of the stuff that we're sending out there, and others are starting to pick up on it. Not that we're leading the world on it, but helping our businesses navigate through it in a really, really tough time.
Michael, you've touched on something I wanted to ask you both about. I think your part of the world particularly has always worked really well together across municipalities in an alliance sort of approach. How valuable has that been at a time like this for you to be able to plug into your networks and share your experiences, Liana? As a reasonably new to the area as a CEO, has that been a help to you?
Oh, absolutely. And actually, Michael and I are on a video conference earlier today. That connection, I'm basically about how we can join together as a region, and how we do things together is my first port of call, and we've been doing that really well. I've been lucky. I'm in 2 different regions. Michael's the same, and just the connection, assisting each other. Where we're great in one area, our neighbours are doing great work in other. We're learning from each other, being open, and the support I've had, particularly as being a new CEO and new to the area, has been amazing. It's been really fabulous.
That's terrific. Now, someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I have on this video chat the only 2 CEOs in the state who also at one time were councillors. In fact, mayors. Am I right about that?
Correct.
Apparently so.
So I'm really interested as to how that colours your view of the world when you're dealing with something like this. And obviously you've got a finer appreciation for what your mayors and your councillors are dealing with as their roles have to change in dealing with something like a pandemic. Observations on that?
So I was in a peri-urban area, so Moorabool Shire in Bacchus Marsh as a councillor and a mayor, and then coming out to a similar sort of area, except a little bit more rural. I think what it gives you is an appreciation of community and appreciation of the governance side of things. So certainly when I was interviewed by the previous council, they thought it was a bonus to have someone who could understand what the pressures that they were going through and they were under on the other side of the fence, so to speak.
Liana, same for you?
Very similar. So, that transition from being on the political arm to the administration arm was an interesting one. And I joke with people and say it was a 20-year overnight success. And I loved local government as soon as I got involved. So I was the last mayor at the City of Port Melbourne pre-amalgamation. We started the VLGA, and then I was the first mayor at the City of Port Phillip. So my experience is so last century, I say to people, but really at an interesting time in local government in Victoria. What I get and what I bring that is different, I think, to other people, and Michael brings this too, is that understanding of what it's like to be at the supermarket. I call it being pinned to the lettuces, and people are asking you the questions about, tell me why this is happening. Why is that happening? What are you doing about? All of those questions. So I think it helps equip me with assisting the administration in preparing reports, preparing correspondence, and getting an understanding of a representative view, and therefore assisting good governance by really helping our elected arm be the best they can by us providing the best advice we can to enable them to make the best decisions possible. I'm a bit passionate about it, and I loved local government so much. I just didn't need to be in the political arm, which is why I jumped across.
And you've both experienced different types of councils as well. Liana, Borbor, Whittlesea, just to name a couple. And Michael, we miss you in the west of Melbourne, obviously economic development at Melton. But that obviously equips you both pretty well, I think, for dealing with different issues. Can I just get a quick response from each of you on a couple of current hot topics? So the government's allowed some extra time for budgets. Have you done your budgets already, or are you going to take advantage of that extra time? Michael?
So we're sticking to the same timeline. It may just slip over into, so our normal meeting will be on the second week of July, so that's probably when we'll adopt it. So 2 weeks later, so we don't have a special meeting, but everything else is the same.
Okay. Liana?
We're going to take full advantage of the extra time. We're doing a reforecast of this financial year because we're really concerned about where we currently are. And I want to get to a point where I've got a little bit more certainty with our councillors, because there's some options that council may wish to consider about what sort of assistance we can give to community as we go through this. And I want them as well informed as I can have them.
Yes, I don't envy you juggling the financial considerations at a time like now when so much is unknown. The other one that's coming, we understand, possibly as soon as next week, is virtual council meetings, the ability to conduct. I think Leanne's just given me her answer. I imagine in shires like yours, the challenges of meeting your meeting requirements with physical distancing and potentially councillors that could be in that vulnerable space in terms of health, etc., that this is probably going to be a good thing for both of you? I think you've already answered my question.
Well, absolutely, from our perspective, and we've been briefing virtually for about a month now, and we'll just transition that to the council meeting. So our main meeting will be virtual, depending on what happens, of course, next Thursday with the Parliament.
Liana?
And the same for us. And I go woohoo because, you know, it's been a real journey, hasn't it, over the last few weeks, just to have these conversations with the state, particularly with the new Act being adopted. What I would say is we had to have a council meeting last week, and it was really difficult. We had to put it in our town hall. The social distancing stuff made it a really unproductive kind of meeting, just to fit the requirements. It was not the best experience for the councillors, and certainly the community really couldn't have participated even if they wished to. So yeah. I think this is a really smart move, and what this period has shown us, and I'm excited by it, is that, you know, we have been able to make this work. We've shown it. We've done it all in the last few weeks, where we wouldn't have thought that we could have had this convo. I wouldn't have thought that I could have watched my mayor juggle 20 odd people in a video, in a conference, online conference, you know, a month ago. But no, yeah. He is like, he's killing it. Like, goodness, he even knows how to mute people, which I'm so impressed by.
Okay. Well, I've heard some people say that could be a bad thing in conducting council meetings. So there's going to have to be some rules, aren't there?
Absolutely. Yeah, the Matt are working hard on those.
Indeed. All right. Before I let you go, Michael's already had a bit of a go. You're the arid end. He's the green end, I think he said. How do you respond to that, Liana? Who's got the more beautiful municipality?
Oh, you know what? I think Michael and I are absolutely in the best places we can be, in municipalities that are so beautiful, and they both have their unique qualities and features. And they've got us, haven't they, Michael?
Exactly right, Liana. What more could they ask for?
But there was the former politician in that answer. Very, very well said. It's been a delight to speak with you both. Lovely to see you. All the very best to your respective organisations as you deal with COVID-19, which looks like being with us for quite some time. And thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Chris. Lovely to chat.
Thanks, Chris. Good on you. See you, Liana.
Bye-bye, Michael. Ciao.
I have to confess, I really enjoyed that discussion today with Liana and Michael. I hope you did too. We'd love to hear from you with your suggestions about future topics for VLGA Connect. If you have an idea or a story that you'd like to share, drop us a line via email to vlga@vlga.org.au. Thanks for joining us. See you again soon on VLGA Connect.